Well. Welcome to the Confidence Igniter podcast. I'm your host, Tamiko Green. Please don't forget to subscribe and also to like. But I am so excited about today's show. It is called The Power of Consistency. I'm going to say that again. It is called The Power of Consistency. Think about this for a moment. Say if you decided to go to the gym. You decided, I want to build muscle or I want to lose weight. And so you go to the gym on day one and you get home and you're like, ooh, I had this intense workout. I know something had to take shape or look different. You look in the mirror and nothing. So you go back on day one, day two, and day three, and day four, and day five, and you still didn't see anything. So you decided, this gym thing really isn't working for me. This is not the best way to build muscle or to lose weight. So you just quit and you started to go back to your old habits, whether it wasn't eating healthy or whatever that habit was. But let me tell you, it's not the intensity in the gym that causes change, it's the consistency, not the intensity, but the consistency. We have to be consistent. You have to be consistent no matter what, even if it looks like there's nothing happening. You have to be consistent because it's in being consistent that causes us to reach that goal. See, because consistency is what leads to success. People, a lot of times, they'll look at someone and say, man, how did they get to where they were? Or they'll say, man, look at what they're doing. Because we live in a society where we don't look at the process a lot of time. We look at the results. And they're really doing it. They're on top of the world. So instead of looking at what I have to go through to get to where I want to go, we don't look at that. We look at, oh, I'm there. I got this. And then when you start doing what it is that you desire to do, and it doesn't work out the way you thought it would because you was looking at the results of a person versus looking at all of the things that you had to go through to make it happen. A lot of times we give up on ourselves, and I use myself as an example. Even with the podcast, I can look at, there are so many podcasters out there and they're doing some great things and large following audience. And if I were to just look at them and get motivated and say, oh, I'm going to start today and it's going to happen for me just like that, and it doesn't, and then I say, you know what, maybe I won't show up on Mondays. Maybe, you know what, then I become real relaxed and say, you know what, forget it. Yeah, I'll think of something else to do that might work out a little bit better. But it doesn't matter what it is I think about doing if I'm not consistent with it. Everyone that you see that's either on TV, that's on YouTube, and they're really making it was a process. They just didn't jump out there and all of a sudden, voila, here I am. I'm got it. People loving me, they're following me. Yes, it happens, but it takes time. It takes discipline. It takes you being resilient because you're gonna fall. And when you fall, you got to be able to look and say, if I fell down, I can rise back up and I can do it again. And I'll just keep trying and I'll keep trying and I'll keep trying. But you have to be consistent and you have to be disciplined. John Maxwell said, motivation gets you going, but it is in the discipline that you keep growing. The consistent discipline that you keep growing. So don't, whatever it is that you want to do or you desire to do, and let me tell you something. Success, when I speak of success, I'm not just talking about in your professional world. Success in your relationship. Relationships take work. So if you meet someone today or you've been with someone for a little while and everything was going good and then all of a sudden it looked like it's going in a different direction, but you gotta work. You gotta do something different. You gotta work at it. Everything requires consistency if you want to see growth. Think about it. If you do nothing consistently, what will you get out of it? Nothing. And then a lot of times people complain because it's not happening for me. But what are you doing? What do you want to happen for you? Where do you see yourself in life? What is it that you really want to get out of life? And what do you want to give back to life? Because life is not just about what you can extract from it, it's also about what you can add to it. And I'm going to say that again. It's not about what you can just extract from it. Because a lot of times we want to get. What can you give me? What can you do for me lately? As Janet Jackson say, what have you done for me lately? But what have you done for someone else lately? What have you given lately? What have you been consistent in giving? Whether that giving is to yourself. What have you consistently done for yourself to go to the next level in your life? Whether that's in your relationship, whether it's in your spiritual walk, whether it's in your personal walk, professional, it doesn't matter. What have you consistently done when you look over your life? And to step into this next for you, because there is a next. If you're still here, there is a next for you. Where do you see yourself? What do you want out of life? Not looking at what's going on in the world, like, okay, don't base what you can have based upon what they're doing out there in the world. No, create your own world and make it work, because we all live in different worlds. I'll prove it. People on TV, they're not in your world. People that are way up the chain, the celebrities, what celebrity is in your world? They may be on your TV, okay? You may see them on YouTube, or you may hear them on the radio. But that's not necessarily in your world. When I say in your world, they're not calling you on the phone saying, hey, what's up? Would you like to fly out to New York and have dinner or have lunch? No. So who is in your space? Who is in your space? Think about that. Who is in your space? And what is it that you really want? And then what are you willing to give your all to? Because you got to be willing to give your all. Consistency requires action. It requires action. And once again, if you don't want anything out of life, that's action too. You just do nothing. If you want to depend on someone else to bring everything to you, don't complain when they don't bring you what you want. If you're waiting for someone to come and rescue on a ship and they show up in a canoe, don't get mad. Just get in the canoe and get to going. Because you're waiting on someone to do something for you that you can do for yourself, creating a new habit, being consistent, making sure that you know where it is that you desire to go, because it is in due season that you will reap the harvest. And whatever harvest that you reap, if you decide that I don't like that, that's not what I want, okay, that's fine too. Plant a different seed. Plant a different harvest. Plant something different. What do you want? And that's key. It's about knowing, okay, this is what I desire. This is what I'm willing to give up. Because let me tell you something, you got to give up something. Normally, yes, I record on a Sunday, and I normally release it on a Monday. But so happenly, Sunday was really busy. But I went to bed and I'm saying to myself, you did not release what you said that you was going to release. You did not release it. You did not do your podcast. I couldn't even sleep at night. I couldn't sleep during the night. I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, wait a minute. Somebody is waiting for this release. Somebody. But I didn't even do what I normally do. So I had to make sure, being consistent, staying with the process because the release day is Monday, so that was good. At least I didn't wait till Tuesday. Being consistent, because the moment you decide to say, I'm not going to do it, it's okay, I just do it next week. You know what that looks like. You know what that looks like. Next week coming, you'll be like, oh man, just forget it. I'll do it the week after next. And then you become consistent in building a habit of giving up on yourself. You start to build a habit. You being consistent on letting yourself down and those that are waiting on you or looking for you to show up for them. See, that's the other thing. Life is about showing up. It's about showing up when you don't want to. It's about saying, okay, you know what? If my date is Monday, okay, so what? I didn't make it on Sunday, but Monday is my release date. And it has to be done no matter what. No matter what. If I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, 3 o'clock in the morning is still Monday. But whatever you say to yourself, show up for yourself. Be consistent. Make it happen. Do what it is that you say you're going to do. Don't look at what others are doing and saying, you know what? Well, I'm going to base my stuff on what they're doing because you know what? That's not good. You can look at others and learn from them. And I think that's awesome because we all need someone that we can look at and learn from them. How did you do it? And I think that's great. But if you think that you're going to jump out there and make it happen in one day when someone probably took 20 years or more to build themselves up by being consistent, by sticking to the plan, by being ambitious, by being bold and saying, you know what, you may say that I can't do it. You may say it will never happen to me, but I know what I can do. I know what I have in me. See, sticking to the process. And even when the process looks like, okay, things are not working out, just stick to it. You might have to tweak it. You might have to pivot here or there, but do not stop moving. Keep going. I guarantee you, you will get there. I always tell the story about I have not always been where I am, and I tell that story so you know that things have not always been great for me in life, but I knew that life had more to offer me. So I had to be consistent. Yes, I pivot here and I pivot there a little bit, but that's all right. It's okay. It's like taking a road trip. You driving down the road and you on I-65 headed north to Kentucky or Illinois or Indiana, wherever you're going. And then there's a big detour sign says detour. Get off at exit 5. And you got to take a detour. So do you decide that I'm not about to detour? I'm not about to pivot here. No, I'm just going to turn around and go back. No, that's not what you do. You get off and you follow the detour in order to get back on track. So even when you're working on yourself or working on whatever that goal is, whether it's your relationship, a professional goal, a personal goal, a spiritual goal, whatever it is that you are working on, sometimes you will have to pivot in order to get to where you want to go. I had to pivot many times. I remember pivoting so much that people would say, man, you always moving here, moving there. I had one neighbor say, you a mover and a shaker. You know, you always making something happen. But sometimes you got to bob and weave. You got to move and shake to make it work. But you just don't quit. And I guarantee you, when you look back over your life, when I look back over my life, sometimes I want to cry. I'll be like, girl, Do you know what you had to climb out of to get to where you're going, to get to where you are? Like, man, sometimes it just brings tears to my eyes. And I'm telling you, if you were to look back over your life and look at where you've been or where you came from, okay, and now you got something else you want to do. And then you say to yourself, man, this will never happen. Come on now. Look at where you are. If you've got this far in life, you didn't get this far in life by not being resilient. Okay? You didn't get where you are in life by not being ambitious. You didn't get where you are in life by not being bold. And if you take those words and put them in order, BAR, you had to raise the bar at some point in your life to get to where you are today. You had to be consistent with something. So now I'm asking you in this, or suggestion to you in this next phase of your life, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you're willing to be all in with? See, I know some people that they're much older and they're like, you know what, there's so many things I really wanted to do, but man, at this age, I ain't trying to do it because I can't. Why can't you? That means I'm talking to those that has done retired and not expired. Okay, if you're still living and it's something you want to do, yes, you can. You could do it. All you got to do is get started, get moving. Because, see, that's the key. You got to get started. You got to start planting. And you got to water. And only God can increase it. That's just like me. Yeah, I'm planting these seeds and I'm watering them. But I understand only God can increase it. He said, I have the plan for your life. You don't have the plan, but he'll reveal it as you start walking. So if you keep walking, be consistent, and keep telling yourself, no matter what, I'm going to do this. No matter what. Not I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. Because see, you can keep saying, I'm gonna. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna is like a movie that never happened. I'm gonna do the movie. It never happened. So you sitting on your sofa with a box of popcorn or a bowl of popcorn, whatever you put your popcorn in, and you waiting on this movie called I'm gonna never, ever, ever happen. It's that old saying, if I coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's what folks always say, and it never happens. So what are you willing to make happen? I mean, your life is in your hands. Now you can think that it's in somebody else's hands. It really isn't. Because who goes to bed with you at night? Who wakes up with you in the middle of the night? So when you say, no, they're controlling the process, ain't nobody controlling the process. If that's in your head, then okay, in your head. But if no one is controlling when you lay down at night, when you get up in the morning, when you do whatever you do, when you go shopping, when you don't go shopping, you're controlling you. And I'm going to tell you, I heard someone tell me when they were working, they was making a decision to either decide to become an entrepreneur or to continue to work for someone. They said, you know what? I think I'm going to continue to work for someone because it's easier. They already done laid paved the way. But they had a gift that could have taken them so many places in life. So I ask you, what about your gift? Each of us came to this earth with something that can open some doors, can put you before great people. See, all of the people that we see on TV or YouTube or wherever you see the people at that are doing some great things, that person could be you. You should ask yourself, why not me? Why not me? Why I can't sit in that seat? That's a thought. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at everything they did, it was consistent. They had to be consistent. Even though someone might say, well, if you're born into wealth, yeah, you were born into a family that had money, but you had to do something consistent. Whether you was consistent in selling or consistent in whatever you were doing, you were consistent in something. I can guarantee you that. Because just being born into money and not doing anything, you're just born into money, but you got to do something. So don't even look at that. Don't look at, well, they had it easy. Well, that's okay. All roads are not smooth. You're going to get some rocky roads in your life. Okay? So if you wasn't born into money, or you wasn't born into such a great family, don't let that stop you. You're an individual. Okay? You are an individual. You get to pick and choose what it is that you desire to do. But just know, whatever you decide, it's going to take some work. If you decide to do nothing, that's going to take some work too. Okay, just do nothing. And here's where your work come in at, because you're going to complain. You're going to complain about everything somebody else have, or what they're doing out there in society. No, do something. Life is a forward motion. You got to keep moving. Show up for yourself. If no one else shows up for you, show up for yourself. Be consistent. Because I guarantee you, it's in showing up. You never know who is going to show up in that space with you. See, and it could be that one time that you're being consistent, you're making it work, you're making it happen, and somebody happens to see you and be like, wow, I need that person. I need them to show up on my stage. I need them to show up in my business. But are you willing to do that for yourself? See, that's a lot of times we don't look at ourselves. Sometimes we look out there. No, you got to show up for you. You got to be the greatest version that you were created to be. And I guarantee you, each and every one of us was created to be great. We were created to live the best life. That's why you got a mind. That's one reason why you got a mind, because guess what? The good book says, you know what? You can transform your entire life by transforming your mind. What does that mean? Think a new thought that's different from the one you thought. Now, if you thinking that you can't have, don't think another thought that is going to get even worse. You really ain't going to have. No, if you thinking that you can't have, oh no, think that I know that I can have. I know that I'm good enough to have more than enough. Okay? So that I can share. Yes, I'm all about sharing. Yes, so I can share, so I can help someone else. But you gotta be consistent, even in your thoughts. So going to the gym is the example that I use. But let me tell you something, even in your thoughts, you gotta be consistent. Because in being consistent, we build habits. So wherever you are in life, you had a consistent thought. And that thought got you to where you are. Now, you could say that's not true, but nobody thinks for you but you. I know for myself where I'm at today because of my consistent thoughts. And if I don't like where I'm at, I get to change my thoughts. They're mine. I own them. But I know it's so much easier to blame someone else and say it was because of them. No, it's not. It's because of you. Change your thoughts. It changed your life. Be consistent. Decide what it is that you desire in life and go for it. Trust the process. If you want to be a singer, trust the process. You're going to have to put in the work. If you want to be a writer, you got to put in the work. Whatever it is that you desire to do, you got to put in the work. You got to train. If you want to build muscle, you got to go to the gym and lift weights. So if you want to build your voice, if you want to build your writing, you got to train. You got to be consistent, and you can't do it today and say, "Oh, you know what? I ain't gonna worry about it tomorrow." No, you gotta train. You gotta be consistent. Just like me today. Yes, normally on Sunday nights I record and I release, but there were some things that happened. But my release is for Mondays, and today is Monday, so I showed up. I showed up. Yes, I had to get up early in the morning. Yes, my mind kept telling me, you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Because my mind said, you're not about to give up on yourself. We got to keep this thing moving. What is it that you like to do? That's what I want to know. What is it that you really, really like to do? Figure that out. When you figure out what it is that you really want to be or really, really like to do, show up for yourself. There's power in being consistent. There is power in being consistent. A man can fall down 7 times, but he can get up 8. Right? You probably heard that from Denzel Washington, but I think it's also biblical. So you keep falling, but you can keep getting up. That's called resilient. Yes, be bold. Take your life to the next level. Don't worry about the rest of them. What they're doing, what they're saying. Let nobody stop you from doing what it is that you want to do, but you got to keep your eyes on your own tracks. Because if not, your train will derail. Be consistent. Yes, that's my word for today. Power of being consistent. Yes. Well, we're at the end of the show. We did that thing, didn't we? I know that's right. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. But before we go, remember, the Confidence Igniter Conference is coming up May 10th. I'm telling you, if you want to know what it takes to be bold and some strategies about being bold or ambitious or resilient, I hope to see you in the place. Yes, it's going to be held in Marietta, Georgia. Tickets are going on sale soon on Eventbrite. I will make sure I have more information that will be coming out. Also, you'll see posts on Facebook and YouTube and wherever I can post it at. And hey, help me out a little bit. Why don't you tell a couple of friends what's going down in Marietta, Georgia on May 10th? You know, that is Mother's Day weekend. So I hope I see a lot of mothers in the house because I got to make sure I have something special for them. That's right. But you'll enjoy it. I tell you, got some great speakers that's going to be there. Man, it is going down in Marietta, Georgia. So you want to make sure you be there in the space. Don't forget, have a wonderful day. I have enjoyed you. Goodbye.